Hi everybody, so I wanted to go through the Trackman software, get everybody familiar with how to use it, and show everything that you can achieve by knowing different ways of working it. So there's so much stuff that you can learn from it, there's so much stuff that you can do on it, and all of it really in the end just makes you become a better golfer by just understanding the software itself. So the first screen that you're always going to notice is this first one here. So with this first screen, you'll notice that you've got different options at the top. So you've got your practice session, which most of the tour players are kind of using when they're just zoning in their swings, trying to understand the numbers, looking through the videos, comparing to other players. Golf courses is up here as well, games, tournaments, and then you've got the more option as well. And you'll notice on this part here, you've got the putting option and the virtual option as well. And then off of these subsections, you've then got different areas as well. So like I said, there's so much info to learn. And when you understand what all of these different options do, whatever stage you're at with your golf, you can really start to zone in on the information and improve. And the good thing with the Trackman, you've got 100% accurate data, and you can really start to zone in on the numbers to where you actually need to improve. Also on some of these parts, another video will be going through the Trackman Combine test, but this part here is really, really important. So the Trackman Combine, you're doing a test from 10 different positions. You're hitting 6 shots into them 10 different positions, and then it gives you an overall score and overall handicap at the end based on what it thinks your long game handicap is. So this part here is a great way of knowing whether you're improving or getting worse, because everyone can practice down the driving range, get 100 balls, feel like they're hitting it great, but you need to know with 100% accuracy whether you're improving or whether you're getting worse, because that's the most important part. If you're getting worse, you need to then work out what are the reasons. Do you need to change the way that you practice? Do you need to work on certain parts of your swing? And if you're improving, then you can just keep doing what you're doing. So that part there for me is really important. The golf course part here as well is great. Again, a lot of the times when you go into the driving range, you've got things like shot tracer, and the data just isn't accurate. So it's like you can feel like you're improving, you can feel like you're hitting 300-yard drives, but then you go onto the Trackman and then it's 260 or something like that. But then if you're out on the golf course and you need to carry a trap that's 280 yards up there, but you feel like you're hitting it 300, but you're actually hitting it 260, it can all of a sudden put you in the bunker rather than carrying it. So you need to know these numbers off by heart and actually get a true reflection of where your game's at, rather than being out on the driving range with balls that are not tournament sort of level golf balls, and with data that's just not accurate. So let's get to work on the Trackman software. Like I said, so this is always the screen that you're going to start off at. Try and get yourself familiar with this. So when you come in to use the studio for the membership, just get yourself comfortable with going through all of the different options. So just keep going through it, play around with it. I mean, the way that I got to learn it, it was literally by just playing around with it. So we have a guy coming from Trackman, he helps us out, and then after that even he says, look, just play through it. The more you can play through it, you will then just start to understand all the stuff that it can do. But the first part that we're going to cover is the practice range session. So what you'll do for this is start off on practice, have yourself on shot analysis, and then just click the button start. This part here is really important. So if the ball isn't within this blue area, and if the tee isn't in this blue area, you're not going to get the truest data, because this is the area that it has its most attention on. If the ball's over here, it will still pick it up, but you want, for maximum data, the ball to be in this blue area here. So this part here is really important. I'm always going to be in the studio setting it all up at the start of the day, but obviously things might move around as we go along. The other important part is that we've got a target to aim at, which will be the bit of black tape on the floor. In the start of the day, I line it up with a golf club, because you can't really see the tape as much on this, but just make sure it's all lined up to the position that you want. So we know it's all lined up here because I just did it. Then on here, you'll always have an account. So this is all of our members or the people that we've gave lessons to. Somewhere on here you'll be, your person will be. And then always make sure that you just click onto your correct account. So we don't want to just go, right, I'm going to go with a random person. We want to always just make sure that we're clicking onto our account, because it's really important. And obviously just at the top, just use this search tag just to search your name. So mine's at the top because I've just used it. I'm going to start with a 7-iron, and then we're on this screen here. I'm going to hit some shots away, and then I'm going to come back to this screen. So I'm just going to hit a shot, and I'm going to leave it on this mode here. Okay, so what you'll notice here is that I've hit a shot, my ball flight's come up, I've left it on this range screen at the moment here, and I've got these numbers down at the bottom. So I've got club speed, attack angle, club path, face angle, total distance and carry. These are the numbers that I personally use for coaching. If you do want to change these numbers, you can just click onto this area down here, and you can pick and choose whichever you want actually on there. So, if we're doing a club fitting, we may have a few more options because we want to start to see things like ball speed, smash factor, launch angle, spin rate. But for coaching, for me personally, I just leave these numbers on. You can make it a lot more technical. Depending on what level you're at and what you're working on, you can pick and choose on here what you want to actually be learning. So I always leave these numbers up on here, and I want to just talk through what these numbers actually mean, because understanding what they mean is quite important in terms of learning about the whole process. So club speed is fairly self-explanatory. So it's the quickest part of your swing, which for me, with my 7-iron, was 89.3 miles per hour. Attack angle, if this number's a negative number, it means we're hitting down onto the ball. If it's a positive number, we're hitting up onto the ball. Club path number, if this number's a positive number, it means I'm attacking the ball from the inside. And just to help understand that number, I'll put it onto a slightly different visual setting. You notice as well, I can go over onto this area here, and I can pick and choose what I want up on here. So now, again, play around with these different options, because you've got quite a lot of variables that you can use. So looking through this kind of area here, you can see club path number 2.9, which means I've attacked the ball from the inside. So you see where that yellow area is here. You can see that this is a straight line, and I've attacked the ball from the inside. If this number was a negative number, it would mean I'm cutting across the ball. Face angle, if this number's a positive number, it means my club face is open at the point of impact. And if it's a negative number, it means my club face is closed at the point of impact. So positive number, the ball's going to start to the right. And if it's a negative number, the ball's going to start to that left-hand side. Obviously, ideally what we're looking for is a club path number to be a positive number and your face angle to be half of what the path is. And if we get that into the area, we'll then see a tiny, tiny little draw. What you'll also notice on here, you've got impact location, which is quite an interesting part to look through. Especially having the light that we've got on in the screen, you can put that onto the ball and you can actually see where you've hit it on the club face itself. Or you've got impact here, so you can then start to look through what it actually visually looks like from over in this kind of area here. So you can see the spin rate on the ball, we can see the spin loft, attack angle, you can see how it's all come off on here. A part that not too many people really know about the Trackman is that inside it, you've got this option here. So you notice there's this button at the top. This basically is having a coach inside of the Trackman. So if you're struggling with your swing, you can click onto that button and it will say, we're getting a little bit more data, find out about what you're doing with your swing. So if I hit some shots, I'm going to leave this part on here, and I'll show you how the inside Trackman coach can then identify problems within your swing. So from here, you notice the shots that I've hit, and it will then come up with an option where it gives me some parts to actually work on. So first of all, you can look through the insights of the swing. So you can click onto here. It shows you where your ball flight should be based on the club that you've got in your hand. It can tell you what your shot tendency is, how far you're carrying the ball compared to what your optimal carry is, and how far the ball's rolling out to compared to the optimal. So you can learn quite a lot about your swing just on this area here. You can see on this part up here at the top as well, it will give you a bit of a rough idea of what your handicap is based on your trajectory. So you can see 18 handicap pro there, and then based on your precision, again it gives you that handicap based on where you're actually currently hitting it at. So I've got 95 for trajectory, which means I'm getting the very most out of my ball flight, very most out of my distance. But then precision, it's telling me I can do a little bit of work. So I agree that chances are my face angle is moving left and right. So I go on what to improve, and the first option up is face angle. So I know in myself that that's what I need to work on, and Trackman's picked that up. So face angle just means that sometimes my club face is pointing too close, sometimes it's open, it's moving around a little bit too much. The reason for that is actually because my right elbow isn't getting in front of my body enough during the swing. So I know that that was my area of weakness, which then leads to why my precision isn't at the level that I should be at. So I can just go, right, okay, I'm going to start some practice just around my face angle. So it will tell me where I should be at. My optimal is my club face to be 1.6 degrees open. And now it will tell me out of the shots that I've hit, where I'm at in this area here. So you can see in my good ones, my club face angle's in a good position. In my bad ones, my club face gets a bit too shut. So you can see the difference of the ball missing a long way left to being straight on my target line. So now with this practice session like this, as I hit shots, it will tell me where my face angle's at, and it allows me to really zone in on my weaknesses, which is great. So I'll hit 2 shots, and then we'll move on to a slightly different area. So I know on this one here, it's gave me, you can see where this part turns blue, so it's gave me it as a good shot, but I know I can still get that club face even a little bit more open at impact just to get that ball starting a bit further right. So on that one, I managed to get the ball starting a little bit further right, and because of that, again, it's gave us 2 out of 2 good shots. The ball starts a little bit further right and draws onto my target line, rather than that kind of one where it starts straight and then goes further left. So this is a great area for you to learn quite a lot about your swing, find out your areas of weakness, and then really get to work on the changes. So if we want to come out of this area, we just click up to the top on the same area that we started it off at, end our practice session, and then it will take us back onto this screen here. What's always important to remember is that you can always bring up your practice sessions that you've done in the past. So when you go up into this corner here, it will record every single practice session you've ever done. So if you ever think, I didn't quite record my data for that practice session, it will just automatically store it. So these are the shots that I hit before we did the practice session, and I can then view straight back onto them and look at the shots that I've actually hit there. So yeah, always remember that you can do that while you're looking through it. So I'm going to record another shot a second, and then I want to talk through the compare option on this, and then show you actually how to compare your swing to tour players and talk through what the changes mean. just going to hit another one. I just caught that one a little bit heavy, so I'm just going to strike another. Okay, so let's go from this here. So you'll notice as well, it's recording every single swing that I do. When I'm on this area, I can chop and change the lines, so I can look at what my posture is, change the colours on it, look at where my shaft's laying to, look at where my arms are hanging, knee bend, put different lines on, put circles on movements just to see if I'm moving off of the ball or not. It's a great feature that you can actually just start to study your swing. Draw the lines on. You can set the camera up by using an app called Trackman Camera. When you're on Trackman Camera, you can run it from your own iPhone. You can just record all the shots that you hit. It's a really useful bit of data. Really useful app, I should say. And then from here, you can then start to go through your swing, pick the parts that you like, pick the parts that you don't like, and understand how you can improve your swing as you go along. What's great about this is that you can click compare down here, and then you can start to look at your swing against tour players. So you've got tons of different options of tour players, and then with all of these different options of tour players, you've got all different ages, all different genders. It's a really great way of comparing your swing to other players. So if I click on Brendan Grace, he's got 7-iron in his hand as well. So all of a sudden I can compare my swing to his, and then we can then start to go through changes that I would personally make in my swing, and actually check tour players are doing it just to make sure I'm doing the right change. So you can see with his one on here, club path and face angle number shows. So club path numbers in blue, the club path lines in blue, and the face angles in red. So then you can then start to see where his face angle's pointing at the point of impact and where his club path's coming through. Again, we can draw different lines onto the swings. You can match them up as well. So if I get to my first position here and I put him in that first position as well, so already you can see a bit of a slight difference. I'm actually working on getting mine a little bit more like his is here. You can see mine's behind me, you can see his is a bit more in front of him. So now it syncs them up. So now as I click forward on either one of these options, you can then start to look through the actual move. So you can see his shaft's a lot steeper than what mine is. And then you can then start to look at the different positions you're getting into, compare them to tour players, sync them up at the same time, and really get to know your swing and look at what tour players are doing and parts that you can kind of improve to kick on to the next level. So once you've finished on this area here, you can come out of it by just clicking the X button at the top. And then a nice feature to the Trackman 4 is that at the end of every practice session on this area, you can go down into this area down at the bottom and send yourself a report of all of the shots that you've hit. So if I click create report, I click group, and then it sends across all of the shots that I've hit today. I can click on the videos of the swing. So by email, when I'm at home, I can actually look through the videos of my swing as I'm doing it. When I was comparing myself to Brendan Grace a second ago, I can compare his data up on here as well. I just have to have put him up, and then when I'm comparing myself and him, click on that button at the bottom, his data comes up as well. Club data, so you can see where my club path was, where my face angle was, where my spin loft is. You can look at the trajectory of the shot, and you can look at the dispersion. So you can see all the shots that you hit, look at the carry, look at the total, watch the videos of your swing. Again, when you're back at home, it's a great way of actually analysing and studying your swing, working out ways that you can improve. And to send that to yourself, you just click share and then click yes and upload. So now all of a sudden I'm going to receive an email, and then it's with all of the data from today's session. One last part I want to go on with on here, and then we'll move on to a slightly different area. That part is Optimiser. So this is great for custom fitting, but it's also great to get the very most out of your swing. So what you'll notice with mine, my carry distance isn't too far away from where my optimal carry distance is. Optimal means it judged on your club speed, how far should you be carrying the golf ball. So, you know, I know for me to hit the ball further, I'm going to need to get my club speed up. So I know it's gym work, it's, you know, swinging faster, it's using the speed sticks, trying to get that club speed number up. But for a lot of people, they may look at a weakness in this area. So for the ball to go as far as possible, we want everything to be in the blue area here. But what you'll notice with a lot of people is that, you know, you'll be up and down all over the place with different numbers on here. So you might look at it in your attack angle, you're hitting up on the ball rather than down on it. So you can look and go, right, my peak is at -4, so I need to be hitting a lot more down onto the ball. And it's a nice way to understand, you know, how far should you be hitting the ball based on your club's speed. Do I need to improve my technique, or do you need to, you know, improve the speed of your swing to actually get the ball going out there further? So this kind of covers all of the range section. And then, like I said, you know, we're literally in, there's a lot of info put out. We're in, probably 1/10 of what the Trackman can actually do. So there's so much stuff on there. But at the minute, we're just touching the surface, trying to get used to actually just using the Trackman and getting used to how to use the software. So for me to come out of it, I just click up on this top left-hand corner here, which says end session. And then all of a sudden here, and back onto the home screen. So then from this home screen position, the next part that we're going to take a look through is the virtual options. So we've got on-course virtual practice or target practice range. We're going to start off on the target practice range. We're going to stick with my user. So with this section, we can now start to add in so many more variables. We can add in different lies. We can add in different wind conditions. We can go over water, over trees, hit fades around trees, draws around trees. We can literally create whichever shot that we want. So we might be playing on the weekend. It might be really windy. Wind conditions are going to get up to 30 miles per hour. I can practice in 30-mile-an-hour wind conditions. So I'm going to stick with my 7-iron. So I'm going to go from 180. And, all of a sudden from here, what you'll notice is this button down here. So now I can chop and change the wind to what I want it to be at, and I can change the direction it's coming in from. Let's say, for example, I don't like the look of this shot, I want to play a different shot. I can click onto here, click over there, and all of a sudden now I'm over here. I can click onto this option, and now I can then pick and choose the type of shot that I want to see. So I might want to see a shot that goes over the water. I might want to see a shot that goes a bit more over tree line. I might want to see a shot that's sort of a bit more over bunkers. So I can now chop and change the shot that I want to see based on the position I'm in. So if I go from here, it gives me a 116-yard shot. I might go, right, okay, I want to actually change my position up. I can click on all through this kind of area here. So then I can go, right, I'm going to go from over there. Now I've got an 89-yard shot over the water. Let's put a bit of wind into position. I'm going to go into, and I'm going to put a 10-mile-an-hour wind in. So then from there, we've now got into wind by 10 miles an hour, and I'm going to actually try and play the shot. So 89 yards, 10 miles an hour into the wind, probably playing a bit more towards 97. I'm going to go with I'm going to hit a little 52 degree. So then you'll notice the ball flight is followed on this one, and all of a sudden there you can see the ball landing onto the green, and then work out your proximity. Actually, you've hit it away from the flag. So I really like this as a bit more of a visual way. When I've got a tournament coming up, I like to actually see the ball flight a bit more visually, see it going towards a flag, and then change up the pin positions as you go along, get used to the wind being in certain ways, how the ball flight gets affected. And I can still look at my data up in the top right hand corner here. If I click on this data, it brings everything up again. So I can chop and change what I want to see based on what I'm actually working on. So this area, like I said, has got a lot of uses to it, and it's a great way of really getting yourself used to hitting into targets, seeing the ball flight, playing around with how much the wind affects the golf ball. So I'm now going to come out of this section here. Like I said, we can hit drivers on this section, we can do whatever we want, we can change up the pin locations, we can change up the position we're in, select different targets as you go along, and it literally just gives you a bit of everything to work towards. So I really like this section for that. So I'm going to come out of this section a second, and you'll notice as well there's different options where you can actually have a look at what the pin looks like. So have a look at what the green looks like. You can then go fly up there, so you can go, right, okay, my flag's all the way over there, I've got to play over these trees. You can start to look at the shot, we're in a bit of a different kind of position from there. But for the second, I'm going to come out of this part here, and I'm going to start to introduce us into on-course practice, which is quite good fun. So now all of a sudden with on-course practice, I can go on to settings. I can click on whichever golf course I want to go on to. So there's at the minute 93 golf courses, but they add golf courses on every couple of weeks. So it's an amazing bit of kit. So let's go on to Wentworth West course, and let's go the second hole there, which is a course that probably a lot of practice members have probably seen play the BMW PGA there. I can click and choose which hole I want to go on to, but we're going to go on to the second. So when I click practice now, all of a sudden I will be on the second hole at Wentworth, and I can just keep playing this shot over and over again. So it's a nice way to practice. You might be playing a golf course that's on here. When I played the Grove last year, I just kept practicing the Grove. So I would go and warm up by just keep practicing the Grove, get to know the golf course, and then work my way through the golf course by getting to kind of getting comfortable with it by just using it on the monitor, which is great. So from here it's going to load up Wentworth course. I think I've got about 155 at a guess, so I'm going to go with my 9-iron, I think. Okay, so we've got 148. Again, I can pick and choose what I want to see regarding the wind, but 148, I know that my 9-iron is probably going to go a little long, so I'm going to change up to my wedge. So I'm going to hit a shot just to kind of show you visually what happens when we're doing the on-course practice. So then all of a sudden the ball flight comes up and it shows me where I would have hit it if I'm actually playing the course. So I know I've pushed it. It then gives me the same shot again, and it allows me to look at all of the numbers, and we look at the reason why I've pushed it. My club path number is 4 degrees from the inside. My face angle was a bit too open, so the ball didn't draw back, it just stayed out right. And then I can now pick and choose what I want to see with the wind, and work my way through, let's say, playing a bit of a different wind position onto it. So let's go all of a sudden, let's play around with it quite a lot. Let's go from 15 and let's go left to right. So now I know I'm going to have to now try and start this ball a lot further left. You can notice the trees are now starting to move around as well, so it gives you that vibe that it's a bit more windy outside. So now I'm going to have to get this ball starting a lot further left than what I just did at the second ago. So I've got that ball starting left, and you can see it in the air being affected by that wind, and then we're on the green, and you can see how much the wind actually takes that ball with 15 miles an hour onto it. So again, it's an area where you can pick and choose what you want to see with it. Again, with this one, you can pick and choose what hole you want to go onto. So let's say I want to try a different type of shot. Let's go on to the 18th. Let's go right the way down to the green. So let's go down there, here somewhere. And all of a sudden I can practice a little 53-yard shot over the water with the wind going into my face. So all of a sudden, we can chop and change what we want to see. We can chop and change what we want to practice. And it's another great way of, really hammering the workout on your weaknesses and learning about your game with the data at the top being 100% accurate, which is great. So I'm going to come out of the virtual options. And once again, it will put us back onto this main hub. So with this main hub, like I said, just keep getting yourselves familiar with it. The more you can get yourselves familiar with it, the better your practice sessions are going to be. Like I said, it's hard to cover everything in one hit because we're just not going to be able to do it. There's just so much to learn. But you can really play around with it and get to know everything that it can do. So this is what we do our nearest to the pin and longest drive challenge on. So hit it, it gives you 2.5 minutes. You've got to hit it as hard as you can, get it going as far as you can. Capture the flags, a really fun game. So if there's two of you practicing, this is fantastic. You can, basically play capture the flag to all different shots, and if you get closer than your partner, you take that flag and then put you onto a different one. Your partner might get closer, so now you've got two flags, and it's a fun way of practicing together, getting you kind of both involved with it, and actually making practice a bit more fun. Closest to the pin again is what we do our challenge on. You can pick and choose what hole you want to do it on. You can pick and choose what tee you want to play from. And a new feature that they've just added is Bullseye. This is quite good. I've only used this once since they've updated the system. But you can pick and choose the environment that you want to see, and then you can put what level you want to do it at. So let's go on expert, and all of a sudden from here, it will put me on a skyline and get me to hit shots over a skyline. And it's a nice thing to visually see. When you just want to see a bit of a difference, you've practiced on the golf course a lot, you want to make practice a bit more fun. It gives you scores based how close you get it. You're hitting over helicopters, you're hitting onto skylines. You'll notice that the sound comes on as if we're actually in the city. There's helicopters flying around, and we've got different shots all of a sudden to play here, and it shows you how many points you get per one that you do. So my first shot is 120 yards, so I'm going to change to my tricky yardage for me, gap wedge I'm going to go to. So now all of a sudden from here, 120 yards, the wind you'll notice is over at the top part here. And it's gusting around, so I've got 13 miles an hour at the moment from left to right. So let's play a shot and let's see where we get. So we've hit the shot, and we've ended up in this area here, and we'll see how many points it gives us, which is 100 points, and then it moves us around to different locations as we go along, and it adds up your points tally as you go through as well. So it's a great way of making practice fun, but also 100% accurate data, so you're starting to get used to hitting the yardages. Again, a really fun way of practicing, a new feature that Trackman have done. You can notice there's a blimp going around, helicopters going around, you can hear the police sirens. It's a really fun way of practicing. You can do this in the desert or out on a golf course as well, so it's a nice feature Trackman have added. So for the minute, I'm actually going to come out of this section, and I'm going to cover our last part that we're going to go through today, which is the golf course. So I'm going to do 3 holes, and let's see where we get to. So we've got so many golf courses that there's no way on earth I've played all of them. I've probably played about 10. Fabio's probably played a few more than I have. But we can pick and choose what we want. Full golf courses, tour venues, links courses, junior courses, par 3 courses. I am going to go on the search button. Let's try something like Liberty National. So I like this golf course. We go on to here. It gives us a little bit of history about the course. We can pick and choose what handicap we're on as well. So if I go on to here, I can look at what tees I want to play off, and I can put what handicap I am as well. So it's nice to actually put your handicap in, because then as you go through, you can work out if you're playing to your handicap or under your handicap as you go along. Click on start, and then all of a sudden I'm good. So I'm going to get my driver out. It's the first time I'm going to need driver. So I'm going to play 3 holes on this. And as you go along with this as well, your handicap will get adjusted. So if you select your character or your user as you go along, your handicap will get adjusted as you go through. So this is also how we run our 9-hole virtual tournaments. By doing this, we get the score at the end, we get added to the leaderboard, and then we work our way up from there. So again, it's such a great feature on the Trackman. So you can see we're in New Jersey. All of a sudden now we're playing a golf course. We can pick and choose the conditions that we want. So I'm over in this area here, pretty tough first hole. And you can see here that we can take it over a bit more of a tiger line over on this kind of part where we've got 283 yards. Or we can play a bit safer down over in this corner, which is 246 yards. If I want to visually see things, I can go from tee to green like this. So you can notice that there's a stream running up the right hand side. I want to kind of go down that left hand side, play safe, or take it over on that tiger line on the right hand side. I'm going to hit it on the tiger line, not that I would in the tournament, but I'm just going to play around with it for a bit of fun. So I'm going to aim over here and know that I've got to hit a long drive, see if I can get all the way up there. Let's give it a go. Okay, so I have pushed it a long way right. The good thing is it's the right miss. If you miss it left, you know you're in trouble. So I've hit it up that right hand side, heeled it as well. So it leaves me with 97 yards in, so then I can pick and choose what club I want. You'll notice on here as well, I'm in the rough, so it will tell me I'm in the rough. It will tell me how much power I can get and how much spin I can get. So 92% power, so a 97 yard shot is probably going to be playing about 100 yards. So for me, I'm just going to hit a little 52 degree into this. Okay, so we hit a nice shot. We're in there reasonably close. Top left-hand corner, it will tell me how many putts it's gave me. From 7 feet, it's gave me 2 putts. So I'm level par through 1. My next hole, this is the first one on our nearest to the pin, but it's from our nearest to pin challenges from a bit of a forward tee. This one's a bit further back, so I've got 181 yards. I am going to go with my 7-iron, I think. You can see as well the wind's only 1 mile per hour from, well, at the minute it's at 0. So we know the wind's not going to affect it too much. I can see the pins on that right hand side. Let's give it a go from here. Leap that one right. So I've short-sided myself, I'm on the right hand side. It's going to allow me now to hit a chip. So I've got 18 yards, I'm going to go over a little 56 degree. Let's see if we can get it nice and close so we can still make par. So I've hit it on, thought that it might move a little bit more right to left, but it stayed out right. So it's hit me to 6.5 feet and it's gave me 2 putts for a bogey. So I'm 1 over par through 2. The score will be over in this top right hand side. If we've got a handicap on there, the score will be net, so it will be done as if you've got your handicap already in play. So I'm going to hit driver away on this one here. Okay, so didn't strike it particularly great, but we're down the middle. Let's see what we're faced in with. So we know there's not a whole lot of wind going on. And we've got 101 yards into the pin. So I'm going to again go with my 52 and see if I can get close enough that we can make a birdie and be level par through 3. So let's give it a try. Okay, so hit it on, see how far I am away, 14 foot 10, it's gave me 2 putts, I made another par and I am 1 over par through 3 holes. And now all of a sudden I'm on to the 4th, you can see a bit of a visual of it, quite a tricky hole, par 3, all slopes down from the right hand side. So now I'm going to come out of this section here, like I said we can play 18 holes of golf like this, you can add different players on as you go through as well. If you want a bit of a break from this, you can go onto this here, come out of the game, and what you'll notice is that you can always resume the game at any point. So if I want to go back into it, up here at the top I can just click resume. What's worth noting as well, so if there's 2 of you that are practicing, you can just click another player. So let's say the other player plays off of 8. Go on to here, and now all of a sudden we've got 1 player in blue, 1 player in red, and the handicap will be adjusted for you as well with this. So again, it's a great way to practice. You can learn so much about your game by just playing these golf courses, playing the virtual side and on the driving range part as well. Next, we're going to go through a little bit of work on the Trackman combined test on our next video, but we've got a lot of info in one hit here, and it touches the surface on the parts that we can improve on just based on the Trackman. So, send across all the comments that below of the questions that you've got. I'll answer them all, and then from there, really get to know how to use the Trackman. So then from there, you can make the very most out of your practice session.